Hello everybody, welcome back to the Carver's Woodshop. Just going to wait a few minutes here before we do this female critter, the spring female critter. If you're just joining us, this will be on YouTube later. We are live on Facebook on Tuesday nights normally, mostly every Tuesday, not all the time, but most of the time. So what we have here is a longer, I did one the St. Patty's. It's a pretty long piece, and it's 5 inches long by 1 1/4 by 1 1/4, and I decided to make a female gnome. And I did put a face when I first started. I didn't care for that, so I went to just putting the dress all the way up under her nose. When I looked at some other ones that people have done, crafts, that's how they did it. Hi, Jen and Jack. So we'll see what happens. We're going to start on this. I kind of drew everything on here because I know this is going to take a little bit longer because of doing this portion, and I had to figure that out. It took a little while for me to figure out how to put that on, and I'll share that with you, how to draw it on. But let's get started with it because it's going to take us a while. So I went ahead and I always start with the nose first. I make a round nose, and it's about 7/8 of an inch up from the bottom to right here, the bottom of the dress or the skirt or whatever you want to call it. And I went all the way around. Then I went up about 3/8 of a quarter of an inch or so and put another line. That's where her shoes are going to be. And her little white socks are right above that, and then just her legs in a plush tone. Then what I also did was I made a circle, and this is about 1 3/4, maybe a little bit more from the top to the bottom, top of the nose, and then from here it's probably another inch or so from the sides, and then I draped it down a little bit on the back. So I usually do the nose first, and then I find it's easier to do the nose, and then I drape it around like a small little S right here, and I did either side, and then I followed it across the way. I'm going to keep knocking her over the whole time. Hello, Anita. I like doing the tulips because of my Dutch heritage, of course, and tulips, I like doing tulips. So you can make any, you can put a daisy, you can put a tulip, whatever you want to do. So anyway, what we're going to do here is once you draw all those on your carving, we're going to put where her braided braids are. So what I do is hold my finger and I put one line straight down, another one straight down, and I did each one that way. That one looks a little smaller, and I did it from the same distance from the edge as well. And so I'm going to start carving the hat. I keep getting the hiccups. If I start hiccuping, just ignore it. I get that once in a while. Okay, so I'm going to do the top of the hat first, and the corners. This is like every other hat I do. I know it gets a little old doing the same thing over and over again, but for beginners, it's a good practice. I had a good week. I have a lot of things going on with the house, and have some repairs being done to the chimney on Thursday, and hopefully I'll be able to use the wood stove my parents had in the house in the fireplace, and I'm looking forward to doing that. And we'll see how that goes. But they had to fix that first. Where is my... Here it is, my V-tool. Now I'm going to take my V-tool and I'm going to follow all my lines. Right around the hat first. Okay. So that's going to happen on Thursday. And then I'll have some other work done in the basement to waterproof it. It's time to get a couple things done around here. Okay, so there we go. And then we're going to do this side here. I always like going to my sister's place because she always has a wood stove going. And since I have a wood stove insert here that my parents never used because my dad didn't like the smoky part of it because he had problems breathing in that, I thought it might be fun to try to do that. Get it up and working, get it inspected and all. And that was one of my goals this year to do. Alright, now I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to follow this line all the way up and around the nose. And I'm going to do the same thing down here. And on the back side. And I'm going to slowly go ahead and cut a little piece out all the way around. From the bottom up to the hat. Hello, Patty and Randy. So, a lot of things going on. And of course, we have our show coming up in March. I'm trying to get ready for that as well. Alright. And that's the first part. Now we're going to do right underneath the nose. Now, some of you saw a post that I just put up. I'm having a little trouble, not trouble, but the guy is away for a while for the winter who cuts up my lumber. And I really like what he does. So I will get more lumber in the middle of March, which is a month away. But I do have some here. I still have plenty here for now. And I put a packet together of 4 of the long ones, 4 of the 3-inch, and 3 of the 3-inch, 4 of the 5-inch, and the 4 of the ornament series. There's 11 in a pack. And I thought some variety might be good for those that want to try something else in the same size all the time. You can buy it. That's the only way you can really purchase these long ones, because they take a lot of, I don't have a lot of it here, but I do plan on getting more. Okay, so down here, we're going to go ahead and cut straight in and come up, just like so, on each corner. Alright. Now, when I did her braid here, I went down to the line of the dress, and then I flared it out a little bit and then went across. And because I want it a little bit lower than, let me see, I actually have that up higher, I'm sorry. Let's do it up here, okay? Then we'll bring it down just to make it a little bit, bring it up a little bit. There we go. We'll just bring this up a little bit more. And then you're going to do each corner that way. You're going to cut it up to the dress line there. The back side. Hello, Todd. Let me take this jacket off. I'm getting hot. It's colder in here before. It was really cold last week, and then it got warmer again. Okay. And I actually tried to jog a little bit today. I shouldn't have done that. I hadn't jogged in a number of years. But, oh, I thought I'd give it a try. Okay, so around here, what I'm going to do is I'm just right where this is. We want this sticking out, right? We want that looking like it's over top. And a lot of this is like relief carving, where you're looking at this and saying, okay, this is in front of this is in front of this, and this is in front of the dress. And that's how you have to approach it. You can't technically make it completely round. As you notice, it's flat. You're giving it the illusion that it's round. you know, so that's what you're trying to do. So we're going to go over here. We're just going to pop that, and we're going to just follow this out. Now this takes a little bit of time. Okay, you're just going to follow that out. And one line across. Okay. If it's not real even, it's okay on the bottom. That makes it a little more realistic anyway. Or I'm going to keep knocking her over. I'm just going to lay her down like this, okay? Just to make it easier for me. When you do use longer ones, you're always banging into something. And this is just like a preliminary cut. Alright, we're going to do the other side the same way. Straight across, right where the bottom of the dress is. You want to make those stop cuts pretty deep, because it doesn't matter how deep you put them, technically, because it won't make any difference. Alright, so, and you just kind of go up like so, and just kind of clean it out. Turn it around, and we'll do the other side. There we go. I do have hot chocolate here today. I just ran out. I had to order more on Amazon today. All right, so that's kind of where we're at with the feet, with the bottom. Now we're going to put where her shoes are going to go. So we're going to put a notch where we have a line going all the way across. I don't know if you can see that. There's going to be a line going all the way across, all the way around. Okay, so first thing we want to do is cut this out. Okay, we're going to cut out the front first. You want to be careful you don't chip the whole thing out. That corner is going to come off anyway, but this just gives you I'm just going to take, well, I'm going to do each corner. Hello, Linda from Florida. And Linda from Wisconsin. And I know we have one lady from Holland watching, and a bunch of people from Canada watching. Pretty cool. It's amazing what technology has done. I had a bit of a, was it this past week? Yeah, it was this past week. I got a call from one of the people that use one of my barns, and they said, Arleen, you have something running in the barn. I go, what? And he said, there's a raccoon sitting in the barn, and maybe you want to get rid of it. He had a camera in there, and I said, oh, good. So I thought, oh, geez, now I have to go after this raccoon. Well, the idea was to get him out of the one barn into the feed room, which didn't go as planned, and he ended up, instead of going out the door, he found a way to go back up into the attic. So I hired somebody to go up into the attic to look at it, you know, and to help me out with it. And my go-to guy that I usually call when I'm in some kind of a small crisis like this, and he's been great. He comes every time I need help with the tractor or whatever I need, and he went up into the attic, and we put some of this repellent stuff down. And apparently he left the building, but it wasn't fun to find him in there. I rarely have those animals in there, which surprised me. So, yeah. So that was my week. I had a very busy week. Okay, so I'm going to bring this down because we're going to round these shoes off a little bit more. We're going to just take this down because it is really too wide. So let's just chop this down a little bit more. Okay, there we go. That's far enough. So we're going to recut this right there. And we're going to just cut inward. We're working on her shoes right now. A little bit later. This is all going to take extra time, folks. So take your time. I'm trying to hurry because of the tape. But, you know, this might run me a little bit longer than I like, but that's okay. So I'm going to go back here and do these two lines as well. Right here. So, hello, Alabama. Alright, now we got all 4 sides done. Now we're just going to go in deeper. That's all we're going to do is start digging it in a little bit deeper. You don't have to go in too deep from the side. You're going to give it the illusion it's deeper than it is. Alright, you don't have to go in real deep. You don't have to make them perfectly round. That's not the goal here. Okay, so I'm just going to pull this out a little bit more. And then I'm going to round this off just a tiny bit before we put the center line in. So we're going to do that next. Just put the center line in. And I'm going just to do a V cut on either side. And now you're going to go up underneath the dress again, and you're going to really kind of go deep there because you're going to cut the Y out to separate the legs there. Okay. All right. You understand what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to make it a little bit more. All right. So now I'm going to just round this off a little bit at the top. Start rounding her shoes off a little bit. And a little bit on the bottom. And we're just going to little V cut there again. Alright, so this is it. The shoes take a long time to do it. They're not a quick few minutes. It may seem that way on the tape, but you know, because I know what I'm doing. For the most part, I know what I'm doing. But it does take time to do these feet. And to do the legs, it takes a lot more time. I was a farmer, and I was a security guard and an armed security guard, and I was also a window cleaner. Window cleaner was my own business. The farm was my own business, and then I worked as an armed guard for a while as well. I went through the police academy and decided I'd rather do the farming. And that's what I ended up doing. Somebody asked what I did for a living. And I'm not technically retired. A little bit, but not completely. The farm is still here, and I'm still operating some things here. Some easy things, not crazy stuff. Okay, so you can see how we're getting the feet done here. Alright. But farming was my main income. And then I was always some kind of a guard, armed guard or regular guard. I was at a guard at a mall for a number of years, for about 20 years. That was an interesting job. People don't like security guards, but boy, when they need them, they come after. Then you're really a wanted person. But I had some good people that I worked with and could count on if stuff happened. So you meet all kinds of people. No, farmers never retire. I still have a field here I have to bush hog and keep after and such. You know, there's always work here to clean up and to take care of stuff. Okay. I'm still working on bringing these legs down a little bit more. Alright. So I'm going to start rounding this off from here. I consider myself semi-retired. There's such a thing as that. Of course, you want to take all this rough stuff off. Alright, so once you get the feet all the way done all the way around and you get it as deep as you want, then you're going to put you can put the socks in, you don't have to. For the sake of just telling you how I did it instead of doing it all online, which is going to take a while. What I did was I take my Yeah, I know. That's funny because somebody said they never saw me start at the bottom before. I know. I decided I would do that because of this here. So what I do is I just go up about 1/8 of an inch and I make another line all the way across. I'm just going to do part of it to show you. All right. And then I take my little V tool and I just follow that line out. Like so. We'll do one leg. And you follow it all the way around. I'm doing a rough job of this because of the time. But, and then you can recut it, do another little cut above it with your knife, and then just slowly hack at it and have this sticking out a little bit like it's a sock. Okay, so you're going to have your shoe, and then you're going to have the sock, and then the leg. And I'll work on this more later and get it a little more rounded and stuff, but that's how you do the feet and the shoes. Now the shoes, I do add what I do with these a lot of times is I add a little sole to the shoe, and then on the side of the shoe I put a little notch in it to show a heel. So again, you go back to your V tool and you go about 1/8 of an inch and you follow that all the way around. I'll just go around real quick to show you how this is done. I'll do one foot. I'll do the same foot here. Okay, so now you have, keep knocking her over. Now you have the shoe, you have the sole, the shoe, the sock, and the leg. Now what I do right here is I just put a notch in, like so, to show like a little heel. That's all you got to do. We moved here in '76. I was 16 when we moved. My dad rented a farm, and then he bought this farm here in Pennsylvania. So, but we always lived on a farm. Okay, so that's how the heel is made. That's how the sole and the heel is made. That's how the shoe and the sock is made. And I think we're ready for the hat part. Well, let's start with the nose a little bit. So we already put the nose, we put a notch in the nose. We're going to bring this down and around a little bit. Now this is a great spring project if you know somebody that does gardening or something, or for, you know, for springtime. Even for Easter, it's nice. Okay, so you're gonna go straight in. Okay, you're gonna go straight in. And you're going to turn it, and then you're going to put another notch right above it, right there, and then you're going to just take your knife and you're going to pop that out. Let me switch to the other end of the knife. I didn't sharpen these as well as I should have after doing that project, but let's see if this one's a little better. So, okay, there we go. That's what we wanted. Now the flower pot's going to be just like this one. It won't be much different than what we did before. The only difference with this one is we're not giving it a beard, and we are not, and we have some legs to it. It was funny when I was looking. You know, I research my projects a lot of times on Google or different things on Pinterest and all that. And I found that they said, well, there is no such thing as female gnomes. I'm thinking, well, there's really no such thing as male gnomes either. So, you know, it's an imaginary thing. So I thought that was comical because when I would look this up, there were all kinds of female creatures made, critters made other places, either out of, you know, they sewed them together and stuff. So there's the nose. Alright, now we're going to go from there. I'm going to take my V-tool and we're going to just follow this up from this corner. Okay, see if I can show you this. Up from this corner, and we're going to follow this a little bit inward, and we're going to turn and we're going to follow that line. That line's very, very faint, but it's there. And of course I did it crooked. Okay, so you're going to put one line there. You're going to follow it from the outside of the other one. Come up and turn it, and you're going to follow that line all the way up. Alright, same thing over here. You're just going to follow this line all the way up. And over here the same way. Alright, that's roughly the same. So what I'm going to do is on the sides, I'm going to cut this out a little bit more, recut it, and we're going to slowly just bring this up to the corner there. Okay, we're just going to trim this out so it sticks out a little bit. Now from here, we're going to have the dress come down at an angle. So I'm going to round this top of the hat off a little bit, and we're going to just bring this up like so and round it. Okay, so that you see a little bit of the dress. Okay, just like I did here. You see it just a little bit. You can see how square it is. Parts of it's going to stay flat. Hang on just a second. Alright, so we're going to do that on both sides. So I'm going to cut this side out a little bit and bring that up around. We're going to notch the corner out a little bit more. Okay, and we're going to bring this up to that corner, right? And we're going to notch that out. There we go. Bring this up. Now I'm going to get a piece of paper. I don't have it here, but I'm going to show you on paper how to draw this. Maybe I can show you on here. But for you to understand it on paper. I had a real hard time figuring out how to do the braid. I'll tell you, sometimes I'll sit there and I'll get really, I'll get stuck on something and then I have to think it through a little bit. We're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to cut right next to this thing here, and we're going to just bring this all the way up. Very slowly, but hello, Lori. Alright, and we're going to just notch this out a little bit right there. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to... Thank you, Nina. I didn't know what it was going to look like when I started. I thought, I'm going to try this and see. Hello, Lori. But, yeah, I've had fun creating something new and different. It certainly is fun to try to do something a little different. And the beauty of these things, you know, you can mix it and match any way you want. You know, I was thinking maybe on one of these, instead of having the no face at all, maybe right here, just do a very small little bottom part of her chin and stuff, and absolutely nothing, no lips, nothing, just plain, you know, and you can try that. I'm going to try it on a smaller one. I'm going to try to do the same gnome on this size for ornament and have the braids come down in the front and maybe have it holding maybe something Christmassy or something something a little different. This is my Easter one. Some of you have seen that from last year, but they're so versatile what you can do with them, and that's what makes it fun. Okay, so now we have that done. Let's see here. Okay, let me go find some paper because I'm going to show you how I did this. It's a lot easier to show you there than trying to draw it on here. The next thing I did was I put two little hands here. Okay, kind of in the same spot. Little, like a little C and a backward C. Okay, and I do it right up to the braided part. Then I go across with the pot. That should be down a little bit lower. Let me see if I can. Okay, let me see if I can put those two things a little bit lower. We're going to put these down a little bit lower. So I'm going to put a second line for the top of the pot. This will go straight across. Okay, we'll worry about that later. And then we're going to put the pot like so. All right. Right like so, right like so. Kind of like that pot all the way out like that. I kind of like that. Now I'll put the hands right here. Something a little bit different. Okay? Okay. Then up here, I'm going to get rid of that corner here. Okay, we're going to bring this down a little bit. Good question. I don't know how to ignite an imagination and how to do things. I have been in a little bit of a slump myself, and then I realized if you don't try to think about it too hard, something pops up. I try not to get like concerned about it, because carving's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be difficult. So we're going to take this pot off right there. We're going to take that off there. I don't care for that. Thought I liked it at first, but it's going to be too much. Let me do this. I need to get rid of that. I'll be right back. Let me just trim this off so we can start over a little bit more. Okay. And take off that pencil work there. You know, a lot of people will take other people's ideas and switch it up, and that's perfectly fine to do that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Okay, so there is our pot. Okay, so I'm going to put the hand up a little higher, right, like so. I'm going to put these hands a little bit bigger than what I had on mine. Had a little trouble cutting that out when I did this. So now I'm going to put the tulip in first, the top part of the tulip. Let's make this kind of wide. I do an upside down U, okay? Then I come back and I bring this up a little bit more, and then I bring it down this way, and then I put another one in the corner, in the middle. Then I put the stem in, and then from here I just bring this out and I bring this back around. That's the leaf on the stem. Okay, that's it. It's not real difficult to draw it. If you're not sure how to do it on paper first. I've done that in the past. Nothing wrong with doing that. I'm going to get a piece of paper to show you how to do the braid, because I don't want to do it on this thing right away. I'll be right back. Okay. When you do the braid, what I do is, some people will do it this way. Let's show you here. Some people think, well, if you do the braid and you have the outside like so, right? And this is where it cuts off. Some people think just put an X. Well, that doesn't look right to me. You can do it that way. And that's an easy way of doing it if you want to do it. I figured out a way that's a little different. So what I did was this. I have the braid, the end part, okay, and we are going to, yes, coloring books work really well. So kind of in the middle, I turn it sideways, or I actually do it from the top. I zigzag, and I'll show you why I do that in just a second. Let's see if you can see this. I go from the top and I come down and I zigzag. Try to keep that as even as you can. Okay, once you make the zigzag, you want to go in the direction of the zag itself, like right here. You're going to just extend it out at that corner. You're going to do the same thing over here. Okay? And there is your braid. Alright? That's it. That's how you do the braid. Now when you go to cut this, you can cut this with, you can do all this with a V-tool. And then at right here, you're going to just round it off a little bit, notch those little corners out, so then it looks like it's more rounded. Okay? That's how I did the braid. I was looking at that and I thought, well, how do I make these squares and then make this one fit? And then I came up with the idea with the zigzag. That seems to work the best. So I'm going to try that on this, and I'm going to do it back here. You can take a look at that again. And I'm going to do the zigzag in the middle of the one thing here. There's the zigzag. And then I'm going to go up 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to follow that on the other side from that corner. Alright, that's the zag. That's how you get the that look. And then this is the very end, and this would be all braided out, the tassel part. Alright, so I'm going to do the hat first for a little bit, and we'll start on that. Let me spray it real quick. Just spraying everything up a little bit to get it nice and... But that's the easiest way to do the braiding on the hair. Alright. Oh, cool chocolate. Alright. Now right here I'm going to put the notch in the hat where it's going to fold. Okay. And then I'm going to notch a little bit on each corner. Okay. This I'm going to scoop out. This I'm going to scoop out as much as I can. Alright. Just kind of keep scooping it out. And I put a lot of folds in these things. Not a lot, but I do put some folds in them. It's easier to do it this way towards the thumb because of the length. Okay. Up here I'm going to start rounding it. There we go. I'm going to keep going down and around a little bit and take all that rough stuff off, because if you don't, you're going to see it when you paint it. I keep repeating that, but it's very true. You want to try to clean everything up with your knife. I wouldn't use sandpaper, because if you use sandpaper, you're going to have to sand it all. But that's your choice if you want to use it. But I would say, for me, no. I don't like sanding anything. I don't like the dust that comes with it. I'd rather deal with the chips. Now this I'm going to bring down a little bit here. And we're going to do the same thing with the hat up here. We're going to just go down a little bit. And we're going to cut that a little bit deeper. There we go. Let me do this back here real quick. Hard for me to see it way up there. Alright. There we go. That's what I want. Nice and deep. And then we're just going to scoop this out a little bit more. I don't see Justin in here tonight. Jenny? I do not see Justin. Alright, there we go. And we're going to take that out. We're going to take a little bit more out there in a minute here. We're just kind of shaping it up a little bit. right. I'll do all this a little bit later, get all this rough stuff off. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start putting some of my, renovating his house. How nice to be able to do that. I do either side. And then I put one on the side here, a couple. You just want to make some big cuts, but if you can do a couple of small ones, and then I try to round off the edge a little bit, just to give it a little bit of, then just straight. And okay, so there's 2 there, 1 there, and maybe we'll put a couple on this side. I like that wrinkle looking hat, the folds in the hat. I really think that makes it look nice. A couple in the back. You can put as many as you want, whatever you think is. And you can make them different sizes. Alright, so that's pretty well it on this. I'm going to bring this in a little bit more. Over here. I have to decide what we're going to do next week. I might surprise you. Okay. And maybe one up here yet. Because I like to see those when I look at it from the front. Okay. So there's your wrinkly hat. Alright, so I'm going to do the one braid online to show you how to do this. So I'm going to take my hefty little thing here. I'm going to go straight across. Okay. Then I'm going to follow each line from the center out. 1, 2, 3. Just take your time when you do this. There's no fast or right way of doing it. Then I'm going to go the opposite way. Okay. And there's your braid. Now, what I usually do here is I just go at each corner, I just put a little V-cut. So it looks a little bit more rounded. You can just see that. Alright. And I'll go up here and put a little V-cut. See how that makes it so different than just a straight line. We'll go to the other side, do the same thing. Alright, so that's how that's done. Now you can make those lines a little deeper if you want. It's totally up to you. And then here we have her dress coming up, right, like so. Let's work on the back end here a little bit. We're just going to bring this up underneath. It flares out a little bit. There you go, just like so. If you want the variety pack, I have it. I think it's $39. That's including the shipping. There'll be 11 pieces, just like any of the other packets. There'll be 11 pieces in it, but it will have 4 of the tall ones, 3 of the 3.5 inch, and 4 of the ornament series, so you can have a variety of things to do. Okay, so we have that pretty well done. Let's start with, I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to put a line across, and I'm going to do the side of the pot first. There we go. This is the intricate part. This is the part that you're going to take your time with, because you can really mess it up if you don't. Okay, We're going to go straight in, just like you're looking at it, like when I say to do the noses and stuff, you're going to do it straight in from the corner. See? Okay? You're going to pop this out. Okay? Now I'm going to go straight across where the top of the pot is, and I'm just going to put a line all the way across, and I'm going to dig down into it like so. So the pot starts to stick out a little bit. Okay, you can see it coming. All right, I know it's kind of hard to see that, but you shouldn't pull on it. This is what happens if you do. So I have to kind of trim that down a little bit, and I will do that a little bit later. All right, let me redraw our little thing on here. So that's, and then the stem is right above this pot. Now I have a little, you know, these pots, flower pots have a bit of a lip to them, so let's go across with that. Use your V tool for that. All right. Again, you want to take all that rough stuff off as much as you can possibly take off, and undercut a little bit. That'll make it look nice. I'm going to look at this back here because we're going to start doing a couple other things, and I need to make this a little bit deeper to make this work. So now if you don't have enough room here, just dig this out a little bit more in each corner, okay? You need to cut that pot out a little bit more. You'll have room to do that. You can just dig in here a little bit and cut that out. Alright, so once you get the pot taken out like so, you can see the part of the pot. Then I'm going to start doing the half of the flower, and then I'm going to turn it around, and we're going to do the other half. All it is a big U upside. It's the right side up U. So I'm going to just chop that out a little bit. You want to be very careful when you do this. Okay. You can make this deeper as you go. That's up to you. You know, you can have it sticking out pretty far. It looks better if you can make it a little bit deeper than just really shallow, because then the paints make it stick out a lot better too. Okay, let's take care of that. I'm trying not to pull that off there. There we go. That's the bottom part. Alright, we're not going to worry about the leaf or the stem yet. That will come. And that's very simple to do once you get this portion of it done. Alright. Then up here it's like a W. Okay. So I'm going to, let me redraw that on there, because I know it's really hard for me to see, and I'm sure it's not easy for you guys to see it either. So, alright, so what we're going to do is we're just going to take this and we're going to go across, and we're going to kind of put it in kind of deep, because that will just prevent us from chipping things out. And then when I do this, I often do it right in the corner. There is the spot you want to hit the deepest, because when you start to take it out, it comes out really nice and clean. And it doesn't matter if it's deeper than what you're going to actually cut out. That will also keep the paint from bleeding into it. Okay, so there's the flower portion of it. Alright, let me just redo this a little bit more. I'd be really taking my time with this if I was not in front of a camera here, but I'm trying to save time. Okay, so now we're going to put the little stem in. We're going to clean this up a little bit. The stem is going to come right underneath it. We'll give it a nice thick stem. Okay, we're going to take the knife again. We're going to go in pretty deep on either side, and you're just going to take your pointing your knife and you're going to take it out. Now if it's not deep enough there, you do it on the pot and on the flower itself, so it pops out just like so. See how it's sticking out? That's exactly what you want. I'm going to do the top of the pot right underneath the flower, and it's important to have a real good sharp knife when you do this. Okay, now you could leave it like that without any flowering portion to it. That's up to you. But I'm going to bring this down just a tad, and I'm going to go from the bottom. Let me take a look at this over here. Oh, that's really crooked. Let me take off a little bit on that flower yet. I'm not real happy with that. Like I said, later on I'll probably be fussing with it more when I get offline. I usually do. I'll have these up on my site later on to sell. So what you're going to do here is you're just going to do like a V, a curved V. It's the best way. Okay, just like so. Same thing over here. Just up a little bit and down. And then all you're going to do is you're going to do another stop cut from the bottom up, from the bottom of the flower up, and you're going to go right next to the flower. You're going to just chop that out a little bit. There you go. This is what takes time, folks, when you do these little added features to it. Okay, there's the leaf, the tulip, the stem, the leaf. Now the stem, I will round that off a little bit. I'll take that hard edge off. Here I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come down, around, and then I'm going to take it to the top, to the bottom of the right here where the flower and that leaf. You see how it comes out nice and clean if you do it deep enough? Yeah, the only thing I could say about doing this small stuff, it really helps you to wet it beforehand, so you don't put a lot of force on it. But that's the flower. If you can see that, let me just wet it real quick so it pops up a little better. There we go. Okay, that's the flower. Now, we're pretty well done. I'll do this offline. That's all that's to this, so I'll finish up the other foot on the other side when we're offline here, and I'll make this a little bit thinner. It's a little too thick yet. If I go up here and cut some more out here, that's not going to hurt it at all. You know, you can bring it in quite a bit yet if you want. But painting it was pretty fun. I did a green hat, and then of course the flower would be red, and then purple with the dots, and then white of course for the hair, and then white socks, dots again to match the hat. And that's what it looks like. And it really was a fun project. I still like doing the male version better, but I think it's fun to do a little bit of everything. I really find that it's definitely a lot of fun. But I'll go ahead and do the other one. But really doing these braids aren't difficult once you get it in your head how to draw them on and stuff. So I hope this has been helpful. Nice little new project for you today. And I'll get this up on YouTube in about, no more than an hour. Usually I can get it up in a half hour, depending how quick the internet is working and such. But I always put it back up on YouTube. Let me just show you before we go. I have some people have asked for the real small version of the knife. That's this little one. that I have. It's a little smaller than my smallest one. Where is it? Where's the other one? Oh, it's not even here. Oh, yes it is. This is a small one. This is a small one, and this is a smaller one. And I actually do 3 of the blades on that one. This one I only do 2 because the large one's too much to grind down, and it wouldn't work as well. But let me show you this as well if I have it. Here's the pack I was talking about that I'm going to put together. It would be, I keep knocking these things over. Those thin ones are hard to keep up. So you get 4 of the 5-inch and 3 of the 3.5, and then 4 of the other. That's what's in the pack. Okay, so if you decide to order one, it's not on my site yet because I have to go to a computer to make it, to publish it. Square is not the easiest things to add things to, but I have a link on my Facebook page in the same place you were watching the video, and you'll be able to order them there if you want. Okay, folks, thanks a lot for joining me again here at the Carver's Wood Shop, and I hope you enjoyed doing our little female critter today. All right, take care and have a great week. Bye-bye.